So how do you properly torque these shock absorbers, the nut and then the top nut as well? So this is the top strut. So this is from my Peugeot 307, but it's also in Peugeots, Citroens, everywhere. So this is rubber, the top strut is rubber. There are no bolts that stick out to slot in the frame of the car. So there are two protruding bits here and here that have to be perpendicular 90 degrees on the bottom two, like down there. You have to be perpendicular, these two. They're not, but you can just turn it around to be absolutely 90 degrees. So you slotted this into the car, and the weight of the car pushes this rubber. That's pretty much it. And the resistance from the car, from the metal, makes this to kind of spin like that, rather than any bolts that stick out. But how do you apply 75 Newton meter of this nut? And that's supposed to be 75 Newton meters. So the idea is that you have a go through like this. This is 90 millimeters. There is an insert here that is 7 millimeter for this particular one hex. So you put that on top, you put the go through in between. This particular kit comes with a wrench that you put here. You also have a counter that you put on top, like that, and then you just tie it as much as you can. Unfortunately, that particular wrench is not a torque wrench, just a wrench. You just tie it up. So how do you apply 75 Newton meters to that? Well, you have to have a crow's foot, and this is 22 millimeters, that fits quite well in here. You have your torque wrench, but you cannot just put it like that because it won't fit. This is too thick here, my torque wrench is too thick. What I do, I have a extension that you put on here like that. The thing that you have to observe, so this is the crow's foot, it has to be a 90-degree angle in the torque wrench in order for the torque, when the torque wrench clicks, in order for the torque to be the same. So this has to be 90-degree angle, like that. So you put that in here, in the crow's foot in with the torque wrench on the go through, your counter, and then you tie this up to the correct torque. And there is a problem with this technique, and I found out the hard way for this. Basically what I did exactly that, put this in here, 7 millimeter, put that one, try to apply the proper torque, and what I did, I damaged the grooves or the hex splines inside. Why is that? Because this is rubber, the nut, I mean, I've cranked these, I've put 4 compressor springs for the shock absorber for the spring, but this is rubber. This nut just sits on the rubber here. No matter how much I press it, I cannot exert that much force. This, you cannot achieve 75 Newton meters to that like that when this is outside of the car. So what you do, you have the same thing. You have your go through, you have your wrench. You don't need to really have any torque. So you hold it and you just put as much force as you can to tie this one up. Then what you do is actually, this is not 75 Newton meters. You put this on the car, the weight of the car pushes the rubber down as much as it goes because the car weighs quite a bit. So it has put it down. The metal of the car creates resistance on the rubber, so this won't slip. And then you put your 7 millimeter or hex or torque or whatever it is on your shock absorbers, put your go through, and then you tie it up. So this will not slip, and then you can tie it up to 75 Newton meters. Rather than trying to tie it up outside to apply the 75 Newton meters torque, whatever torque there is, you won't be able to apply. You split, you'll damage the splines inside. This is not hardened metal. It's quite a thin wall here, so it won't really sustain. I mean, that's what I did, and I had to buy a new shock absorber because I just couldn't do 75 Newton meters. But this is how this is done on my car. When this is on the car already, there is a weight on this rubber. So this is how it currently is. The shock absorber, that's the same thing. Is in its groove in the car. Let me see if you can see it there. I mean, the wheels are on, everything is on. I've bounced the car a few times just to set this off. And now to torque this the proper way, when the weight of the car is pushing on this rubber and it creates a resistance of the rubber. Now there is no way you can damage the grooves here. It won't spin and you'll be able to torque it. So first we have this go through. This is T45. I bought new shocks because I damaged the threads there. So you put that first, then the go through on the bolt, then you have your crow's foot with an extension. It's 90-degree angle, in that case like 90 degrees, so it's 90 degrees, so the torque will be kept. So you can put that in there, and then your counter is just on top of that bit, and then you can tighten it. And that's 70 Newton meters. And that's how you tie those. So you can do it that way, otherwise this will spin and it will damage the torques there, the inside. It's not hardened steel at the top there, so it will damage the threads there. And that's it. That's how you tie those. So now the same thing. I mean, I have to lift the car a little bit because I can't put the rubber in there, this thing to tie up the top bolt. But the top bolt is the same thing, no difference. With the go through and this T45, the other is hex. Well, but that's what I ordered, these sacks, and that's what they gave me. So this is my go through tool set. It's quite a few of these 21, 19, 22 millimeter go throughs. Quite a few of these 7, 6 millimeter, 5 millimeter hex and torx and so on. I mean, it's quite good. I've used it quite a few times, and it's quite good. It's fairly cheap, and it's Casuman strut nut removal 2 socket set. That's what I use for my shock absorbers. The Crowfoot, it's a metric Crowfoot wrench set. I mean, it's something cheap and actually works quite well. It's got quite a few of these Crowfoots that you can put on a torque wrench and do those. Well, that's it. So when you're doing the bottom nut of your shock absorbers, for these shock absorbers, just put it on the car and then apply the counter and the torque with the Crowfoot in order to do whatever 70-75 Newton meters. Don't do it on the shock absorber when it's outside of the car. You'll damage the splines there, the hex or the torx. Metal is not hardened steel. So yeah, that's my tip. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you found it useful. Thank you very much indeed for watching.